Matthew 101 Foundation Lecture, Fullness of Time and Core Themes. Professor Ellis stood at the front of the lecture hall on the second day of the new semester course, New Testament Survey, beginning with Matthew. The class met 3 times a week and would move through the entire New Testament, starting with a solid foundation in Matthew before continuing into Mark, Luke, John, Acts, the letters, and Revelation. 28 students sat with notebooks ready. The professor spoke steadily, laying the groundwork with minimal interruption. Welcome again. This course surveys the whole New Testament, but we begin with Matthew, so everything else has a strong anchor. Today, we lay the foundation. First, the historical moment God chose, the fullness of time. After Alexander the Great spread Greek culture across the known world in the late 300s BC, Koine Greek became the common language of trade, government, and daily life from one end of the Mediterranean to the other. Later, the Roman Empire added Pax Romana, a long season of relative peace, and built an impressive network of paved roads. Those roads and that peace created the perfect delivery system. A message could travel safely and quickly. Into that exact moment, God sent his Son. Paul captures it this way: "But when the fullness of the time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law." The prepared world, Greek on the tongue, Roman roads underfoot, meant the news about Jesus could reach far beyond Israel right from the start. Professor Ellis paused and asked, "Why does Alexander the Great matter here?" A student answered directly, "He spread the Greek language that Matthew would later use." "Correct," the professor continued. "Matthew's Gospel is the first book of the New Testament. Tradition credits it to Matthew the tax collector, one of the 12. Written in Greek for a primarily Jewish Christian audience living in this wider Roman world. The book has a clear shape. It opens with Jesus' birth and preparation. Then come 5 major teaching sections that echo the 5 books of Moses. Stories of miracles and growing conflict weave between those teachings. The story builds to the final week in Jerusalem, the cross, the empty tomb, and the Great Commission that sends the disciples outward along those same Roman roads. 6 big themes run through every part of Matthew. Jesus is the Messiah King, the Son of David who fulfills Israel's hopes. He fulfills Old Testament prophecy again and again. He brings the kingdom of heaven, present in his words and works, yet still coming in full power. He calls for a greater righteousness that starts in the heart. He trains disciples and builds his church, and the good news is ultimately for all nations. Listen to how the book ends. "Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." The command matches the moment. Greek lets everyone understand it. Roman roads let them carry it. The peace gives them time to do it. Professor Ellis scanned the quiet room and asked another question. "What does the fullness of time help us see about the end of Matthew?" A student responded shortly. "The Great Commission could actually happen right away because the world was ready." "Exactly," the professor said. "This foundation will carry us through Matthew and then through the rest of the New Testament. The same king who arrived in the fullness of time is still building his church today. Take good notes. We will return to these themes often as we move forward." The professor wrapped up the lecture with a clear summary slide on the screen. The narrative foundation was set for the full semester. Students left with a map for everything ahead, starting strong with Matthew and carrying the same big picture through every book that followed.